Good morning everybody, this is Dona Das from Team 7 BIBS. Now let's talk some business. Many Indian investors feel that it is illegal to invest in the US stock market. However, this is not true. The RBI has got a scheme called the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, which allows any Indian investors to invest internationally. In this video, we are going to talk about what LRS is and the history behind it. Prior to 2004, an Indian resident was actually required to take permission from the RBI every time they sent money abroad. This was originally done by the RBI to prevent excessive outflow of the rupee, which could have destabilized the currency. However, over time, as the world got globalized, the RBI realized the cross-border flow of capital is essential for economic growth. So, that is why in 2004, RBI introduced LRS to simplify the outflow of capital from the country. The LRS is unavailable to corporates, partnership firms, HUF or charitable trusts. The LRS includes comprehensive list of purposes under which one can remit funds. However, the list is different for capital account transactions and current account transactions. Under current account transactions, we have travel and tourism to foreign countries except Nepal and Bhutan, gift or donations to legitimate beneficiaries, going abroad for employment, emigration, maintenance of close relatives living abroad, business trips, expenses in connection with medical treatment abroad, paying for education abroad. Okay, now let's see the capital account transactions. Opening, holding, maintaining a foreign currency account abroad with a bank, purchase of property abroad, making foreign investments in equity shares, debt instruments, mutual funds, ventures, capital funds, etc. Extending loans to non-resident Indians who are relatives as defined under the Companies Act. Acquisition of qualification shares of an overseas company for holding the post of Director of Acquisition of shares of a foreign country towards professional services rendered or in lieu of director's remuneration. Setting up a wholly owned subsidiary or a joint venture outside India for any bona fide business purpose subject to the rules framed under the Overseas Direct Investments Regulations. There is no restriction on the number of transactions. However, one must maintain a capital account for at least 1 year before your first remittance.
Now, we are going to talk about the remittances that are prohibited under the LRS. Number 1. Remittances that falls under the Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 of the Current Account Transaction Rules 2000. The list includes purchasing of lottery tickets and buying prohibited magazines. Point number 2. Remittances from India for margin or margin calls to overseas exchanges counterparty. Point number 3. Purchasing of foreign currency convertible bonds as issued by the Indian companies in the overseas market. Point number 4. Remittance for trading in foreign exchange abroad. Point number 5. Direct or indirect capital account remittances to countries which are marked uncooperative by the FATF, Financial Action Task Force. And last, direct or indirect remittances to individual or entities as posing a significant risk of committing acts of terrorism as advised by the RBI.
Let's talk about how much tax you have to pay if you send money abroad under the LRS scheme. So as per the amendment under section 206C of the Income Tax Act 1961, the authorized dealer who receives the amount for remittance under the LRS scheme shall be liable to collect tax on LRS transactions. As this new provision came into effect from 1st October 2020, the transactions prior to this date will not be eligible for any kind of tax deductions.
The provisions related to TCS will impact you only if the transaction amount crosses the specified limit. As per the income tax laws, TCS will be applicable on foreign remittances if the total amount remitted exceeds Rs 7 lakh in a financial year. So if the remittance amount does not exceed rupees 7 lakh in a fiscal, then you will not have to pay TCS. In case of foreign travel packages, TCS will be levied irrespective of the monetary amount, and the tour seller will collect the TCS from you. For instance, if the amount remitted is rupees 5 lakh, TCS will be applicable at 5% and the tax collected will be rupees 25,000. To provide relief to the students who have taken education loan to study at foreign universities, a concession rate of TCS will be applicable. If the amount is remitted for studying in a foreign university through an education loan obtained from any financial institution in India, the rate of TCS shall be 0.5% on amounts exceeding rupees 7 lakh. However, for a parent or student paying fees for a foreign university out of his or her own pocket exceeding rupees 7 lakh in a financial year, TCS will be applicable at the rate of 5%. TCS at 5% will be applied on LRS transactions exceeding rupees 7 lakhs if the foreign exchange facility is availed through FCY cash withdrawal at branches or loading forex cards. How to recover the cost of TCS? You can recover the cost of TCS by claiming the credit of the TCS at the time of filing the income tax return. You can offset the TCS against your aggregate income tax liability. In case you don't have an income tax liability where your income is below the exemption limit, you can claim a complete refund of the TCS by filing the income tax return.
What are the requirements a remitter has to comply with? The individual will have to designate a branch of an AD through which all the capital account remittances under the scheme will be made. The applicants should maintain the bank account with the bank for a minimum period of 1 year prior to the remittance. For remittances pertaining to permissible current account transactions, if the applicant seeking to make the remittance is a new customer of the bank, authorized dealers should carry out due diligence on the opening, operation and maintenance of the account. Further, the AD should obtain bank statement for the previous year from the applicant to satisfy themselves regarding the source of the funds. If such a bank statement is not available, copies of the latest income tax assessment order or return filed by the applicant may be obtained. He has to furnish Form A2 regarding the purpose of the remittance and declare that the funds belong to him and will not be used for purposes prohibited or regulated under the scheme.